Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Now when you go to Jeremiah 49, verse 10, you get an understanding, but in verse 7 it say concerning Edom. So this situation is all about Edom, the whole nation, not just one person, because we know what people like to say, the whole nation. And it say, is wisdom no more in Teman? You see, because he gonna take the wisdom that he was giving these red dragons, he gonna take it from them. And so once you get to verse 10, it say, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not gonna be able to hide himself. And so that's what they classic, that's what they like to do. That's their classic move, I meant to say. You see, put on hoods and hide themselves. You know, you might be the Lord, you might be the mayor, the doctor, the lawyer, the dentist, but y'all done sat around and put on hoods so nobody know who you are, and you terrorize the lower class laborers in the city and make them conform to whatever agenda y'all got going on. You see, as soon as they want to pass a law or do something, they start terrorizing people and hiding their identity. When they do it, they don't want people to know that they the one pushing the agenda. So let's go ahead and get these scripts in here, because I'm giving you straight the spirit of the Lord. Now in Psalms, King David let us know how they was going to be moving, because he was battling with these Edomites. In the 1 Samuel 15, he was battling with them. Saul was battling with them, but that in Samuel, he was battling with these Edomites. They had done stole a whole city from him, took his 2 wives. So he knew about these Edomites. You see, it wasn't nothing that he was confused about. He knew who the enemy was, because we was born in the womb together in Genesis 25. We was fighting in the womb. This is going to be our enemy until we go to our kingdom and put them on our foot. But let's hit Psalm 64, because he give out some good detail in Psalm 64. Verse 2, it say, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Because in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it calls him the man of sin, or the nation of sin. That's why all they religious churches and things say the law is done away with, because they don't want to follow no laws. They don't want to follow the laws of God. And in what Psalms 50, it say they cannot keep the instruction. They don't want to keep the instructions of God, so they need to keep the Bible out of their mouth. His instructions, he don't even want them coming out of their mouth. But in verse 2, going on, he say, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, because that's what they initial whole plan is all about. Insurrection. We want to come in and attack and strike blood. That's what we all about. Now verse 4 say that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. See, that's what they strategy is. See, they want to do an insurrection and come in and attack and shed the blood of the children of Israel, but their whole goal is, let's shoot first in secret instead of trap. Well, let's go to the next verse, verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? So they ready to set a trap for you. They not just gonna jump out there and attack with power and force. They ready to set a trap for you. And so when you get to, let's see here, let's just jump back in Psalms to 37, because he talked about it in Psalms 37 also. He talks about the meek will inherit the earth. In verse 12, after he said the meek will inhabit the earth, in verse 12 he said, the wicked, this in Psalm 37, verse 12, the wicked plotteth against the just, and gnashes upon him with his teeth. And the teeth always represent the power that he had, his power, whatever power he got, and weaponry and the sword that he got. He gonna mash against the righteous, and he gonna plot against the righteous to get it done. Now, let's see here. Jump over the next chapter, 38, Psalms 38. Psalms 38 and 12. He said, they also that seek after my life lay snares for me, traps, and they that seek my hurt speak mischievous things, and imagine deceits all the day long. You see these Edomites, they trying to set a trap for you, and they telling lies on you, and they trying to set a trap with you with a bold-faced lie. See, that's been their strategy. That's been their strategy to set you up in a trap. Now, we got the perfect example with Esther. Now, Esther was one of the queen, I won't say queens, but one of the wives of the king of Persia when the Persians was ruling. And so Esther and her uncle Mordecai, who was looking after her, they was in a close to the king pretty much. So this dang Edomite named Haman, he did exactly what King David said they would do. In verse, let's see here, chapter 3, first of all, chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 6. He saying he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. So he ain't want to mess with Mordecai by himself. He wanted to get him by himself. You see, lay hands on him. You see, but then he goes on to say, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews, all the Israelites that were throughout the whole kingdom of the Persian king, even the people of Mordecai. So when you go to jump down to verse 8 and getting straight to the point, he say, Haman said to the king, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. Verse 9, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And not only was that he wasn't trying to destroy them, he was trying to pay off the king, just like these red dragons using their money to attack us. So when you go further, say, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hand of those that have charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasury. So these people using their money to try to trap the Israelites. If I got to pay off this person, and I got to pay off this person. Now, first of all, we know that this man who got all the money, his grandmama was in the Ku Klux Klan. she wanted to hide herself, and she told people, don't let the Negroes know that we trying to exterminate their behind. And use a preacher to go to them and convince them of to follow what we got going on, because we know there's gonna be some rebellious peoples and people that finding out of our plan. They're gonna find out what we're doing and will try to rebel against us. But go get one of their preachers that they listen to, and then he will calm the situation down and get them to come follow along and pretty much be a Judas goat and lead them to the slaughter. And so the Edomites, that's been their strategy forever. And that's why the Lord said he gonna expose they behind. Now let's go to Thessalonians and break down how he said how he was gonna do it. Now he gonna use the prophets. He ain't gonna do nothing unless he tell the prophets. That's in Amos 3:7. But when you go to Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, he break down how he gonna expose these dragons before the end come. Now in chapter, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. It say, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and a man of sin, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of destruction or perdition. So when it get to verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed. So the wicked, he gonna reveal they behind, man. You think the end of the world coming, he ain't gonna reveal who the wicked is, that wicked is? Not the wicked, but that wicked. It's a specific, when you use that word that's a specific group of people. That's a separate group. Because it's you pinpointing something. Saying that. You're not talking in general saying the wicked. You being specific about a specific group. And so when you go back to Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, it lets you know that the Edomites, the nation of Edom, is the border of wickedness. If when it comes to wickedness, they gonna be the border of wickedness. So like in 9 verse, going on with that verse in verse 8 in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, he say, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, his prophets and his word, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And see, here in verse 9 let you know how they operate. Even him whose coming is after the workings of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. You see, they're going to lie and say all kind of mess. And they're going to do it with all power. And you got the elites, you got these people that's in so authority that people going to listen to them. Because see, that's when it comes with the power. They got the power to set the agenda. But they setting the agenda with a freaking lie. You see what I'm saying? That's what they setting the agenda with. And so these dragons trying to tell people that they terrorists, these are the terrorists. They've been the terrorists. They've been the wicked. And they've been terrorizing the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans ever since we got to this country. And they ain't terrorizing us by running their mouth like we doing. Because they trying to say we terrorists because we running our mouth and reading words out of a book. That's terrorism. So we standing on the corner reading words out of a book. They calling that terrorism, but you sitting around burning crosses in people's yard, hanging people, poisoning people with your food and drug administration, poisoning people with your so-called medicine that ain't from the earth. It's some concoction that you done concocted up in a laboratory like a wicked witch of the West and the East on Wizard of Oz. You know, she got a witch with a broom or with a big spoon. She's whipping the pot like a dope dealer. He whipping the pot. He done throw some cocaine, and he done throw some baking soda in there, and he whipping up the concoction. You see, he that's the witchcraft that these people come with. Just like the dope man on the corner, they whipping up a bunch of stuff that ain't really that you supposed to be consuming into your body, and it got all kind of side effects and allergic reaction that's gonna happen to your behind. But they don't give a damn. They trying to make their money and destroy your behind. And so that's what's going on with these dragons. They trying to hide themselves and what they doing, but the Lord gonna expose them. But they ain't gonna have no other choice but to have an insurrection. All them traps ain't gonna work. You got to come with the insurrection. And when you come with the insurrection, that's when he gonna invade with his troops. Let's get that in Habakkuk. We gonna let Habakkuk go ahead and close it out with Habakkuk. Because he talking to the Habakkuk and Obadiah is all about these Edomites also. All about the Edomites. Habakkuk 3, chapter 3. He let you know in verse 2 and in verse 3 of chapter 3 in Habakkuk, he say God came to Teman, because that from ain't no Hebrew word that they got to justify putting from there. That is, he came to Teman. He gonna come to these Edomites' land and tear they behind up. Teman is the grandson of Esau. Let's get straight to the point. Verse 8 talks about the chariots. That's what he coming. That's what he riding in. He said the Lord displeased with the rivers, and he riding in the chariots of salvation. See, he displeased with somebody, and he riding in the chariot, some kind of vehicle to come get they behind. And in verse let's see here, verse 14, it talks about the strategy. He said they rejoicing was to devour the poor secretly. You see, they want to do it on the down low with a mask on, like they always do. Verse 16, right to the bottom, to the point, that I may rest in the day of trouble when he cometh upon the people, when he invade them with his troops. Because that's an insurrection. When they try their insurrection and devour the poor secretly, that's when he coming. So go ahead and make that move. But I'm gonna leave it there. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. The kingdom is at hand. Shalom.